Hello, everybody. I am Ronald the Rules Lawyer, starting to react to the second playtest class. They're Daredevil. I already streamed and reacted to the other one. No, the other one was a Daredevil. This is the Slayer. Don't click away yet, friends. I already see a couple of comments. Something about nuggets and biscuits. You are strange and I appreciate you. Oh, this one, yeah, Slayer gives strong Witcher vibes. I have not really played that Witcher game. I don't even know what the name is. I do have it installed in my Steam library. The Witcher, it's called The Witcher. I've not played it much. I just remember it was an action first-person RPG, and I couldn't get a handle over the controls, and it was too fast for me. I'm more of a turn-based player, and I like I used to be good at 1993 Doom. I used to be good at that, but that was my last real action game that I was good at, really. Okay, here we go. We already looked at the Daredevil. Let's look at the Slayer. Oh, am I streaming? I see. I don't even know how many people are watching. Is anyone watching? Is this a public stream or not? Oh, there have to be technical difficulties and some degree of confusion at the start of a Ronald the Rules Lawyer stream, right? I could have sworn I made this a public stream. Because I did a Patreon only stream recently. Okay. Public, yes, public. I'm just not able to. Oh, I see the number of current viewers, yes. All right, give a thumbs up, please. Okay. Slayer. The world is full of dangerous and mighty beings, but slayers know that no threat is unbeatable. You could be a trapper in pursuit of rarer game. Oh yeah, Witcher, they're about hunting things, right? A brave defender of the weak, or a dogged pursuer of a hated nemesis. Whatever your reasons, few are more skilled than you at hunting singular and deadly foes. Okay, I have a similar reaction as with the Daredevil. Convince me this is not a ranger. Let's see what the key mechanics are. Equipped with an arsenal of specialized tools, the spoils of your previous hunts, okay, and your indomitable spirit, you're always more prepared for each new quarry than the last. Oh, okay. I doubt you can snowball and just be more and more powerful infinitely, but yeah, I remember reading somewhere that you use spoils from your previous kills. Okay. Okay, skimming the bottom paragraphs. You're emboldened by your allies' successes. Okay. You knowledge of monsters as part of your shtick. You hunt your quarry, similar to a ranger. You have a preference for weapons and armor you customize yourself, eschewing store-bought gear. Okay. So you craft your own stuff. I wonder if crafting is a skill that you need, or maybe it's survival that you use to build things. 10 hit points, strength or dexterity. Saving throws look. Nothing else on the right stands out to me. You're proficient in medium, not heavy armor, and with all martial weapons. Okay. All right. Okay. If this isn't a stream, I don't know where I am then. Slay girl. All right. They've talked about the Monster Hunter series being an inspiration for the Slayer. Okay, good. And I've not played Monster Hunter either. I am so out of the loop when it comes to culture, entertainment, movies, television, and video games cultures. Okay. I see some traits. I will look at those in due time. Okay, standard class features. On the hunt. Whether you're facing your quarry or not, your Slayer's instincts let you seize on any advantage, chasing the thrill of battle to victory. You gain the on-the-hunt reaction. Okay. Whether you're facing your quarry or not, but the trigger is you see your quarry be critically hit. I don't know how those two sentences square with each other. Okay. Or any creature within 60 feet be reduced to 0 hit points. Okay. You throw yourself into battle, redoubling your efforts. You gain the quickened condition until the end of your next turn, and you can use that only to step, stride, or use an action with the relentless trait. Interesting. All right. So when you see violence, you get inspired by violence, and you get faster because you want violence. Okay, let's see the relentless trait now. Actions with the relentless trait are special techniques that you have trained to use on instinct. You can use any action with this trait with the extra action you get from on the hunt. In addition to one or more of your normal actions, in the case of 2 or 3 action activities with the relentless trait. Hold on. Okay, what happens with 2 or 3 action activities with the relentless trait? You can use any action with the relentless trait with the extra action you get from on the hunt, in addition to one or more of your normal actions. In the case of... Okay. So your extra action when you use on the hunt can contribute to a 2 or 3 action activity. Okay, that's written kind of weird. Oh yeah, Slayer was a first edition class, I remember. Yeah, I was a GM of first edition from 2010 to 2019, really. Or 2018. I might have been fully on board with the 2E playtest. 9 years, I'll say. Okay, Megan's jumping in my lap. Come on. Megan Cam. Come on. Yay! There's Megan. Uh-oh, she's going on my table. Okay, it's not a Ronald stream without Megan. She's probably gonna sit in front of me now. So yeah, there are like 10 classes in the advanced class guide for first edition that were hybrid classes. They were kind of because first edition didn't have the archetype system. You kind of had to make bespoke new classes to merge 2 classes concepts together. And the Slayer was kind of a mixture of the Rogue and the Ranger. And so they had like lesser sneak attack and lesser, I don't know, Ranger stuff, I believe. Okay, monster lore. Your training and experience mean you have comprehensive knowledge about dangerous monsters, and you can often correctly deduce information about even creatures that are new to you. Okay, Megan, stop trying to knock over my microphone. Sit down. You become trained in monster lore, a special lore skill that can be used to recall knowledge about non-humanoid creatures of any kind, but typically only to identify their notable vulnerabilities, resistances, and weakest defenses. So how to kill them, basically. Monster lore can't be used to recall knowledge about topics other than creatures. Okay, I'm curious now. Are devils humanoids? Like, are they considered to be, they have like 2 legs? So what is a succubus demon? They're not humanoids, okay. So things that are monstrous, things that are not quite civilized. Okay, it advances automatically as you level up at the usual levels. Okay, that's cool. So it becomes expert at level 3, and this requires intelligence. So you're a little multiple attribute dependent, slightly, I guess. You want to have a good intelligence as well, which, okay, makes sense if you are mainly a martial. You want strength or dexterity to be your key attribute. Okay. Okay, you get a class feat at level 1. Okay, let's see chat. Okay, this is wildly different from the 1E class, but interesting. Interesting. On the Hunt feels a bit barbarian coded. It does. And also 4E Vampire is a class in 4E. I've seen that in action. Someone wonders how this class would feel in Quest for the Frozen Flame. It sounds perfect for it. In fact, when I ran Quest for the Frozen Flame, we used Roll for Combat's is a third-party company's book for monster parts that Mark Seifter, co-designer of Pathfinder 2E, had designed for them. It's written weird because normally quickened actions can't be used for activities. Yeah, it wasn't. My complaint was that I think it could have been written more clearly. That was my complaint. Yeah, PF1 archetypes are more like 2E's class archetypes. Yep. So monster lore is basically just commander recall knowledge lore. Easy to proc in combat, but very limited on who can use it. Okay. Yep. And towards slightly different set of things, too. Just as esoteric lore is its own kind of subset for the thaumaturge. Giants, hags, and weird creatures are humanoids, though. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Although slightly worse, as it doesn't work for humanoids, so you need to push society too. Okay. Yeah, if there are a lot of humanoids in your campaign. They have access to ranger fighting styles, rogue talents. Are we talking 1E? And they got studied target and later quarry. I think that's the 1E Slayer. Yep. So they were kind of like, if you want to smoosh two classes together in 1E, you had this these hybrid classes in 1E. All right, someone wonders how fun a Slayer, Ranger, Investigator, and Thaumaturge party would be. That'd be interesting. One of my video ideas, by the way, is to have 4 bards in a party to make a band. And see how that would be. And give them the magical girl archetypes. Slayer's Arsenal. As a Slayer, you have an arsenal of hunting tools that you specially prepare to target your current quarry. Your hunting tools have no effect in anyone's hands but yours. If you lose any of your hunting tools, you can replace all missing tools with 1 week of downtime. Wow. Many hunting tools represent a specific piece of equipment, typically a level 0 common item, which you gain automatically and don't need to pay for. You can replace such a tool with a new item of the same kind, or add runes to an eligible item, but you must pay for them normally. You can replace such a tool with a new item of the same kind. So I guess if your tool is a dagger, I suppose, and you find a magical dagger, you can designate that as your tool, no downtime required. Is that what that's saying? At first level, you have a signature tool, a special hunting tool for which you have a particular affinity and which you are especially adept at modifying to suit your quarry. Choose a signature tool, gaining its initial benefit, and a unique action called a slaying technique. The following signature tools are on pages 17 to 18. I think we need to look at those before the feats. Okay, let's look at all the first level stuff. Oh god, there's a lot of... The first level stuff is most of the first half. Bloodseeking Blade, your signature tool is a unique and powerful weapon. Chemist? I'm going to say Chemist. Chemist vials. Your signature tool is a set of unique alchemical vials and the equipment to prepare more. Consecrated Panoply. Your signature tool is a set of consecrated charms and sidearms. Interesting. Are those guns, sidearms? Warded Mail. Your signature tool is a suit of sturdy customized armor. That's funny. You get to craft with your armor. Okay. I don't... Okay. I skipped someone's Buffy comment? Ooh, I like Buffy. Which means if you get a cantrip as a Slayer, you could use it twice around. Okay, I'm not sure how that refers to... Oh! My biggest complaint about Slayer, not enough party buffs. Slayer should be Buffy. Okay. Were there others I missed? Oh, okay. Quicken has always been able to be used for activities. The monk's level 20 Quicken feat allowed the Quicken to be one of the 2 actions for a long or high jump. Okay, if that's how it was written here, my complaint again was how it was written. If it had said you could use one of your Quicken action could be one of the actions to fulfill your 2 or 3 action activity. Instead, it says, in addition to one or... Anyway, I'll stop ranting. Before guns were invented, a short-sworded dagger was called a sidearm. Oh, interesting. Okay. In addition to your signature tool, you can gain extra hunting tools called secondary tools through Slayer class feats, expanding your arsenal. Okay, we'll see what that means in action when we read those feats. Slayer's Quarry. As a Slayer, you're especially effective when you carefully research and track a particular target. You gain the following benefits, allowing you to track your quarry and claim your prize when you defeat it. Mark Quarry. You have little preference in which prey you choose to hunt, so long as you deem it worthy. You gain the Mark Quarry activity. So you can mark a giant rat for your quarry, I suppose. You designate a single creature, spending 10 minutes listening to rumors about it, researching it in a library, or taking note of its tracks. After you finish gathering details, the GM tells you whether the creature's level is equal to or higher than yours. Oh, is this the first time a ability explicitly allows you to ascertain something's level? I've had some players ask if they can ascertain something's level. If it is equal to or higher than your level, you can mark that creature as your quarry, preparing your tools to hunt it. Okay, so this isn't to be used for, mere little things. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to survival checks when you track your quarry, and to monster lore and society checks to recall knowledge about your quarry. Okay. Alright, so rules is written, you want to mark your quarry before you recall knowledge about it, so that you get that +2 bonus. You also gain additional benefits based on your Slayer's arsenal when you mark your quarry. You can have only one creature designated as your quarry at a time, and the designation lasts until you use Mark Quarry again, or until your level exceeds your quarry's. Interesting. If you already had a creature designated as your quarry when you used Mark Quarry, the first creature can't be your quarry again for 24 hours. That's an interesting limitation. So you don't want to just start an adventure saying, Big Boss is my quarry, because you probably will have to switch away from Big Boss. I wonder why that limitation exists. Like, it's not that OP to not have that limitation, I believe. Anyway. So unlike Hunt Prey for the Ranger, which only takes a single action, this takes 10 minutes. So let's see what other goodies it gives. Claim trophy. When your quarry finally falls, you can swiftly claim a trophy and use it to reinforce your own tools, readying yourself for the next hunt. You gain a personal trophy case. A container of light bulk with no monetary value that you use to store your trophies. Your trophy case can carry up to 5 unused trophies at a time. You also gain the following activities to claim and use trophies. Okay. You have access... Okay. It needs to have been your quarry when it died. You spend 1 minute gathering a trophy from your defeated quarry and add it to your trophy case, preparing it to reinforce your Slayer's arsenal. The exact nature of the trophy depends on the quarry. It might be a dragon's fang or hide, a lich's empty soul cage, or fragments of a tyrant's armor. It sounds like it can be anything. If you claim a trophy while your trophy case is full, you choose which trophy to discard. As part of claiming a trophy, you can also immediately reinforce your arsenal with it. Okay, we're going to learn what that is in a second, I suppose. This allows you to reinforce one of your hunting tools with a new trophy and make any choices about its properties that you normally make when you reinforce your arsenal during your daily preparations. When you reinforce your arsenal this way, you can't reinforce or make any choices about the properties of any hunting tools except the one you reinforce with a new trophy. Okay. Are these in alphabetical order? Because they should have explained what reinforced arsenal was. Okay, I can always just go down. Trophies. Trophies are used to reinforce your arsenal during your daily preparations, adding additional benefits to your hunting tools. The nature of your trophies varies depending on your quarry, but each has certain common characteristics determined by the creature from which it was claimed. While all trophies have an associated magical tradition for the purposes of your Slayer feats and class features, they are not inherently magical, and don't have a tradition trait unless the creature they were claimed from did. Okay, they don't have the trait, but they have an associated tradition. So what the fuck is the purpose for that then? Some Slayer feats and class features might also reference a particular characteristic of the creature a trophy was claimed from, beyond a trophy's common characteristics. For what purpose? Yet I don't know. I mean, this is all rules overhead. It's hard for me to grasp what it means until we see what triggers these rules. Traits. A trophy's traits are any traits a creature had, not including rarity or size traits. Okay. So if I... okay. Damage types. A trophy's damage types are any damage types that the creature could deal with its strikes or non-spell casting abilities, or that the creature had immunity to. Okay. So if it was immune to fire damage, then it has the fire trait. Okay. Traditions. A trophy is associated with the traditions matching the character's tradition, the creature's tradition trait, if any, and the tradition of any spells it could cast, if any. If the creature had neither a tradition trait nor the ability to cast spells, the trophy's tradition is occult. Okay, if it's not magical... Anyway, I'm not sure why we care about the tradition. At first level, you have a single trophy already, because it's not magical, which you claimed in a battle before your adventures, or were given during your training. If you're creating a higher level Slayer, you start with an additional trophy for every 2 levels you have. Your starting trophy has the following characteristics of your choice. One of these, Aberration, Beast, Dragon, Giant, or Undead. One of cold damage type is Cold, Fire, Electricity, or Spirit. Interesting. And one of the 4 traditions. Okay, this is hurting my brain. I want to see examples. Like, what does a trophy do? Reinforce Arsenal. You are performing your daily preparations, but you also can do this for free as part of your 1-minute activity to claim a trophy, apparently. You can reinforce any number of your hunting tools with unused trophies from your trophy case, granting them any additional benefits listed in the reinforced entry. Ah. The reinforced entry of your hunting tool? Okay, I assume. A hunting tool can be reinforced with only a single trophy at a time. If you reinforce the same tool again, you return the previous trophy to your trophy case. Even if you didn't reinforce any of your hunting tools, some hunting tools allow you to make choices about the properties when you reinforce your arsenal, such as the damage type dealt by a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool's initial benefit. Okay, even if you didn't reinforce any, some hunting tools also allow you to make choices about their properties when you reinforce your arsenal. Okay, what is the sentence about? Even if you didn't reinforce any, when you reinforce your arsenal, you get to make a choice. But you're reinforcing it right now. Okay. Again, I need to see a use case for this sentence. Okay. I'm sure someone will explain it in chat. But give me time to read through it, and if I don't catch it when it comes up, then explain it. Designing trophies. The design of a trophy is up to the Slayer who claims it, but they typically follow the same basic guidelines. A trophy is usually no larger than the Slayer's spread hand, though it might cover an entire weapon or suit of armor, once dismantled and used for reinforcing. A trophy from a non-humanoid creature is typically a part of its body, such as a dragon's fang or sea serpent's scale, while a trophy from a humanoid creature is typically a part of its equipment or heraldry, such as a scrap of a warlord's banner or a knight's pauldron. Yeah, it gets kind of weird if you're, using a humanoid's, body part. The quarry bit is one of the problem talking points of Slayer. The immunity bit is a little weird since mindless creatures will be immune to mental, thus a zombie can give you the mental damage type. That is weird. Slayer really suffers from how Paizo organizes classes in general. Trophies and arsenal stuff is confusing till you read feats. Yeah. Yeah, and this is like how a... it's written like a computer program. I mean, it's slavish to various forms, or like a word game manual, something like that. We'll get back to the advancement class features after we look at the signature tools to know what we were talking about. You have at least one of the following signature tools. Your signature tool grants you an initial benefit, which helps you hunt your quarry, and a slaying technique, a unique action with a relentless trait that expands your options while on the hunt. One or both of these benefits is further enhanced, while your signature tool is reinforced with a trophy. If you gain the specialized arsenal feature at higher levels, you gain the corresponding additional benefits. Specialized arsenal feature. So that's a 7th level class feature. Okay. Bloodseeking blade. Let's start simple. A knife, yeah? You have an even closer connection to your weapon than most slayers. Your signature tool is a level 0 common, simple, or martial weapon of your choice. So let's say somebody picks a great axe. You can designate a different, simple, or martial weapon as your signature tool when you reinforce your arsenal, transferring your special adjustments to it. So you can change it every morning, apparently. Or when you claim a hunt, right? When you claim a trophy. As part of claiming a trophy, you can also immediately reinforce your arsenal with it. Allows you to do it with one of your hunting tools. Okay. Initial benefit. Bloody Fuller. Fuller? If your quarry is resistant to physical damage dealt by this signature tool, you ignore an amount of that resistance equal to 1 plus a number of weapon damage dice. Okay. So if you're fighting a skeleton with your great axe, which resists slashing 5, it's only resists slashing 3. You're reinforced. So let's say you took a skeletal champion's skull, and okay, no, let's say your starting Slayer trophy is Undead Fire Occult. Okay, and then you can use that to reinforce your great axe so that your first strike with this signature tool each turn deals 1d6 additional damage of one of the trophy's damage types. So slashing for their claw. Chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. Though you might want to find a trophy that adds bludgeoning damage, right? So that you have 2 damage types, so you can cover your bases, maybe. So, if there was a skeleton that did bludgeoning damage, I don't know if there was one, but you can attach your skull to your great axe so that you're slashing them and bonking them with the skull, I guess. This extra damage increases at higher levels. Okay. So, additional damage. That's nice. I'm sure a lot of people will like that. Slaying technique. 2 action activity called Honed Strike. It has the relentless trait. You center yourself and calm your breathing, then strike. Make a strike with your Bloodseeking blade signature tool. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your attack roll and ignore the target's concealed condition, if any. All right. So if somebody kills a giant rat and you see that, then you are on the hunt and you're quickened your next turn and get to spend. You have effectively 4 actions if you use this activity. Okay, cool. But it's its own separate activity. Okay. Specialized Arsenal, 7th level. You gain access to the critical specialization effects of this signature tool, and the initial benefit applies to any resistance to damage dealt by this signature tool. Not just physical damage. Uh-huh. In addition, this signature tool gains the effects of either a fearsome, returning, or shifting property rune chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. Okay, so I assume if you have a flaming rune on your great axe, then this also ignores some resistance to the fire. All right. Okay. Okay, Chemist's vials. Okay, chat. Basically, if something relies on, let's say, a damage type, and the trophy had multiple, you get to choose one. Okay. Okay, I still don't know why this first clause is there. When you reinforce your arsenal, you get to make the choice. Okay. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Hey there, the Chemist, in my opinion, is the weakest subclass as it has very little support for playing it, even if you consider it as a support build. Aha, alright. Oh, so if we had a trophy from a skeleton, well, my example had the fire tag, so fire damage. What example of mine? Because a skeleton's not immune to fire. Okay, but your starting was only one elemental damage type. Okay. Chemist vials. You believe that a battle is won well before it begins, and you use your knowledge of alchemy and herbalism to guarantee victory. Your signature tool is an alchemist toolkit that also contains the following special alchemical concoctions, which you can use while wearing it. You can designate a different alchemist toolkit as your signature tool when you reinforce your arsenal, transferring your special adjustments to it. In addition, you gain the alchemical crafting skill feat. Okay, initial benefit. Chemist's Eye. Once per hour, one action, you drink a... Okay, I have to learn how to... Since I'm going to be saying Chemist 100 times during this stream. It's an archaic spelling of chemist? What? So we're just playing with spelling, using archaic spellings? There's a 1-minute video on how to pronounce... Okay, hold on. Okay, no, I don't want to watch the ad to hear how this is pronounced.
Chemist.
What?
Chemist.
I can't even understand this.
Chemist.
Fuck this. I'm just gonna say chemist. You drink a Chemist's Eye vial, gaining the ability to detect your quarry within 30 feet as a precise sense for the next 10 minutes. Interesting. You also gain one special vision ability. Oh, if it's reinforced, you also gain one special vision ability the creature the trophy was claimed from had, such as dark vision or a cloud giant's cloud sight for the duration. Cool. Oh yeah, and you get to switch these out. Once you can have up to 5 trophies. But you can only switch them when you're claiming a trophy. That's kind of weird thematically. But isn't that pretty strong? Like, if they had the ability to echolocate or to see invisible creatures, like, oh, but you can only do this once per hour. Okay. Oh, but the base effect is to detect them as a precise sense, as long as they're within 30 feet for the next 10 minutes, regardless. So if you're within 30 feet, that's already really good. Okay. Slaying technique, ignition vial. Once per minute, you drink an ignition vial, then blow a cloud of deadly energy from your mouth. Creatures in a 15-foot cone take 2d4 fire damage with a basic reflex save against your class DC. The damage increases by 1d4 at 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter. Ignition vial deals, when it's reinforced, it deals one of the trophy's non-physical damage types, if any, instead of fire, and has the matching trait instead of fire. Okay. So I'm just wondering how that scales. You know, 2d4 and once per combat, really. Okay. I suppose the math is sound. Oh, at 7th level, the frequency is once per round. Okay. All right, so it's utility stuff and some modest AoE. Consecrated Panoply. Whether you worship a deity or not, you know that their trappings are anathema to many of the creatures you hunt. Your signature tool is a harness or coat that contains a seemingly endless array of charms and consecrated weapons, whether worn openly or in hidden pockets, and their blessings protect you and skewer your prey in equal measure. Initial benefit, safeguard charms. While wearing the signature tool, the consecrated charms within protect you from harm. You get a +1 status bonus to saving throws against your quarry. Okay? When it's reinforced, you also gain a +1 status bonus to saving throws against creatures with any of the trophy's traits, and against spells of any of the trophy's traditions. Okay, there we go. There's a trophy tradition being important situation. Okay. But it's not magical, mind you. Okay, so better saving throws. Sling technique, hunting spike. You need to have a free hand and are wearing your signature tool. You draw, and with one action, you draw and strike with one of your hunting spikes, specially consecrated tools which function as daggers. Your hunting spikes have either the holy or unholy trait chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. Oh, it could be holy one day, unholy the next. Your panoply always contains more spikes to draw, but they are worthless to anyone but you and cannot be etched with runes or otherwise modified. Okay. Okay, so the point is you can attack with a dagger that's holy or unholy. Okay. It seems very situational. Yeah. Very situational. Like, I'm, what, a few levels into a certain adventure path, and we're at 4th level now and haven't encountered a single foe like that. Specialized Arsenal, 7th level. Your hunting spikes function as +1 striking daggers. Okay, so they're no longer... well, everyone else's daggers improving. Yours suck for a few levels until you get to this level. In addition, they are treated as either cold iron or silver, chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. At 13th level, they become +2 greater striking daggers, so they fall behind for a few levels again. And 19th level, they become +3 major striking daggers, and you can choose for them to be treated as adamantine instead of cold iron or silver when you reinforce your arsenal. So it gives you some more damage types. Okay. Though, you know, why not have some alchemical items that add those? Aren't there some cheap consumables? I don't know. Maybe I'm poo-pooing on this too hard. You know, to make your dagger silver count as cold iron, I mean. Okay, warded mail. Your armor isn't just protection. It fits you perfectly, matching your movements and warding off your quarry. Your signature tool is a suit of level 0 common armor of your choice. You can designate a different armor as your signature tool when you reinforce your arsenal, transferring your special adjustments to it. In addition, you become trained in heavy armor. Whenever you gain a class feature that grants you expert or greater proficiency in medium armor, you also gain that proficiency in heavy armor. Initial benefit, fortified plate. While wearing this signature tool, you gain resistance to physical damage dealt by your quarry equal to 2 plus the value of the armor's potency rune. When it's reinforced, you also gain resistance equal to 1 plus half your level to one of the trophy's damage types chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. Okay. Half your level rounded down, I suppose. I wonder how this stacks with armor special... No, maybe you don't get armor specialization. Slaying technique, armored shelter, 1 action, relentless. When you're wearing your warded mail, you can position your armor to better protect you. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your AC and to reflex saves against area effects until the end of your next turn, or until you move from your current space or use an attack action, whichever comes first. +2 AC until your next turn is pretty good. But how often, relentless doesn't come up all the time though. Unless you're fighting a bunch of giant rats. And it uses your reaction to trigger. So you're kind of reaction starved, aren't you? Because you need that for on the hunt. At 7th level, you gain access to the armor specialization effects, there you go, of the signature tool, and the initial benefit grants resistance to all damage dealt by your quarry. In addition, you can don or doff the signature tool as a single interact action. Oh damn, you just take off your full plate armor with that single hand? And it fits you like a glove? That's silly. Armor specialization, that gives you resistance, right? How does that work? Armor specialization effects. So plate armor has the plate trait. You gain resistance to slashing damage equal to 1 plus the value of the armor's potency rune. So when you're 7th level, you have +1 full plate. So you have resistance 2 to slashing. This says you gain access to that, and the initial benefit grants a resistance to all damage dealt by your quarry. Okay. So resistance 3 to all damage by your quarry. They're different because your quarry might have different damage types. If your quarry did slashing damage in this case, it wouldn't stack because resistances don't stack. Okay. All right, chat. Chemist. I'm saying chemist. Panoply makes your strikes holy or unholy during daily preparations, at least. You could go all Van Helsing with a crossbow build. Oh, with a crossbow. What? Crossbow? I thought this was using a dagger, like a spike. Your hunting spikes have a holy or unholy trait. So I don't know how that works with a crossbow. It's unlimited returning throwing daggers with the worst bonus progression that other players will get with their runes. Oh, you can throw them. Okay, yeah, daggers are versatile, yeah. Not doubting the weak progression, at least the feats give you a choice of how you work it. Okay. If they got the rune progression buffed up to the same as martials usually have, or at least the ABP chart, it would be a viable copis? Choice. But this kind of tweaking is what playtest is for. Yeah, though they deliberately made it fall behind, right? They designed it to fall behind for a reason. I wonder what, I guess they wanted it to, I don't know. I don't know why they should, be so careful with it, because it only comes up when you have the relentless, when you can do a relentless action, right? Oh, you can always do this. You don't have to be on the hunt, using on the hunt to do this. On the hunt simply makes this more action efficient. Okay. So you can always, instead of taking a third action, gird yourself to give yourself +2. Oh, circumstance bonus to your AC, but that's like raising your shield, I guess. But you can have a two-handed weapon and then use this warded mail. And it also improves your reflex saves. Come on, Megan. All right, so those are the subclasses, the signature tools. Now, I'm just going to look at this previous language again to see if any light bulbs turn on. Okay. All right, so trophies have traits. All right, and you can only use one trophy on a given tool at a time. Okay. It sounds kind of fun as you are doing your first level or two, looking for your, quarry. But you need to know in advance that you're going to encounter it, right? You can't just say that the monster behind this door. What do you need to know? Mark quarry. You designate a single creature. Listening to rumors about it, researching it in a library, or taking note of its tracks. Okay. So when you're exploring a dungeon, I assume, since you don't know what's in it yet, you need to find tracks. You're looking for tracks all the time, I suppose. Finding guano, so that you can mark your quarry. Oh, there were other advancement class features. Okay, usual math advancement. Tip of the tongue at 5th level. Your encyclopedic knowledge of monsters allows you to quickly recall basic information. You gain the assurance and automatic knowledge skill feats for monster lore. Oh, you get assurance. That's cool. What is automatic knowledge? Level 2 skill feat. Requires being an expert and having assurance. You can use the recall knowledge action with that skill as a free action once per round. Wow. But you must use assurance on the skill check when doing so. Interesting. Okay, so that helps with lower level creatures and eventually at level creatures as this gets better and better. Okay. So level 15, when you're legendary, you'll have a proficiency bonus of 23. So a 33 check and a level 15 standard DC is 34. So you're a little behind. Slightly. Okay. Weapon expertise. You're expert in your weapons. Okay. But you don't get weapon specialization unless you got the Bloodseeker subclass, right? Which you get at 7th level. Okay. Slayer's Sight. You can notice even the tiniest at 7th level. You can notice even the tiniest signs of your quarry's presence and react to them in an instant. Your proficiency rank for perception increases to master. In addition, you always gain a reaction whenever you roll initiative or combat, though you can use it only for reactions from Slayer feats or class features. The GM might still rule that you can use other reactions before your first turn based on the situation as normal. Okay. Specialized Arsenal, is this just a fancy name for weapon specialization? It looks like. Yeah. In addition, it gives you the 7th level ability of your signature tool. Okay, will increases to master. Okay, this is the first master skill you get, 9th level, and a success becomes a critical success. All right. At 11th level, you choose a second signature tool. You gain its normal benefits, but not its specialized arsenal benefit. Interesting. Fortitude becomes master at 11th. Martial weapons, master at 13th, as usual. Ooh, your will becomes legendary at level 15. 15th level is like greater weapon specialization, but you gain the specialized arsenal benefits of your second signature tool at that time. You become legendary in perception, well, it makes sense, at 17th level. And fated foe, 19th level. You are difficult to kill, and an attempt to do so only incurs your wrath. You get this fated foe free action. Once per 10 minutes, if a creature would reduce you to 0 hit points, you refuse to be slain, turning on one who would try to fell you. You avoid being knocked out and remain at 1 hit point. Your wounded condition increases by 1, and you gain temporary hit points equal to twice your level that last for 1 minute. So 38 hit points, temporary hit points. You immediately declare the triggering creature your quarry if its level is equal to or higher than yours, replacing your existing one, and can choose new options for any of your hunting tools that allow you to change their properties when you reinforce your arsenal, such as the damage type dealt by a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool's initial benefit. Bloodseeking Blade's initial benefit. Okay, that's the one where you get to designate it does 1d6 additional damage of one of the trophy's damage types. You can't change the trophy, obviously, in the middle of combat, I assume. But if there are multiple damage traits, then you can change it at this time. Any new options, not just the damage of the Bloodseeker's Blade. The ones that allow you to change their properties when you reinforce. Okay. I'm assuming if there's multiple options, it allows you to change it when you reinforce. Okay. All right, let's take a short break. Concentrating, reading every single word is a little tiring. But let's talk with chat. God, Paizo chose to do this for a reason. Oh, Crossbow Slayer at level 1. Okay. The warded male feats make it a pseudo-guardian in a sense. Interesting. I'm reading backwards. Warded male hunting technique equals raise a shield / raise armor. I guess it falls behind because you can still have a main weapon. Yeah, you don't need a free hand for this. No, wait, do you need a free hand for that spike? Yeah, you need a free hand. Yeah, and you can still have a main weapon doing something else, yeah. Paizo chose to do this for a reason. Doesn't mean it's a good reason, says Lucifer. Good night, Masterplex. The Slayer really feels like The Witcher. I mentioned this on Cyprime's Discord channel, having an encyclopedic knowledge of all monsters. Doesn't Assurance only beat on-level DCs at level 7 and 8 specifically? I trust you on that. Most of the common creatures listed have their lore DC at easy diff rather than standard. Huh? I thought it's the standard. And when it's uncommon, you add 2, I thought. Good to see you back doing PF2E. Yeah, so just on I had a lot of stuff going on. Okay. All right, let's take a little break. What are we going to talk about? Oh, God. I was playing Slay the Spire right before this stream. And there was a 10% chance I would have a bad draw, that I would not get a calm card for my Watcher. And it happened. It was a beautiful little deck. It was like the end of Act 2, and I had only like 10 cards. It was like super thin. Sigh. When Slay the Spire 2 comes out, Swing Ripper and I have a plan. We're going to do something. You guys get to find out. Okay, it's easy for a lore. What? All DCs for lore checks are lowered by 2? By rule? I gotta look that up. I've always allowed, I've always lowered the DC by 2 when someone has, you know, one of those specific lores that the kind you get from a background, like, you know, heraldry lore, or farming lore. But I don't know about it applying to something that's almost always useful, like bardic lore. Is it? I want to find out. Alright, I guess my break will be to research this rules question. Lore skills can also be used to identify a specific creature. Using the applicable lore usually has an easy or very easy DC before adjusting for rarity. Determining the scope of lore. Okay. Okay, but that doesn't really speak on the question of DCs. Think of monster lore like esoteric lore, but yeah, I don't give a bonus to esoteric lore checks because of because they're so broadly applicable. But on the other hand, bardic lore's advancement, it like falls behind. But this doesn't. This is like monster lore. It becomes legendary at level 15. No investment required. And also the language that I just looked at, I think it said specific lore. No, it said lore skills can also be used to identify a specific creature. Using the applicable lore usually has an easy or very easy DC, then it's followed by a chart that says aberration is occultism, animal is nature. I don't know. I'm inclined not to lower the DC for these very broad lore skills. Yeah. I don't know. There's going to be some thread about this. Okay, feats. All right, there's a bunch of first level feats. How many pages? These streams are kind of tiring because I'm like analyzing everything. So this is going to be 4.5 pages. Okay. Blood scent. Relentless. One action. With a glance, you can judge how close your target is to falling. You recall knowledge about a single creature you can see. If you succeed, for the next minute, you know all conditions that creature has and an approximate percentage of its remaining hit points. You can use this ability as a free action if the creature you target is your quarry, or is taking persistent bleed damage. I like how flavorful that is. And in Foundry, I would give them the boss bar too, you know, no matter what it is. So everyone can see its hit points. Well, specifically the Slayer can, but why not share it with the party, you know? I have people talking in combat anyway. The investment is the class choice. Okay. Which gave you a bunch of other stuff as well. I don't see that being convincing. Like, everyone chooses a class. Like, I haven't seen it feel weak, let me say, in all of the campaigns I've run with the Bard, Thaumaturge, you know. It's like they're usually asking me, oh, is it okay? Can I use it on this? Because they feel I'm already, they're already kind of getting, you know, away with something because it's so broadly applicable, you know? I always felt that the -2 to the DC was to reward somebody who has that heraldry lore, you know? That, like, which almost never feels special unless you give them that lower DC. Okay, I'll continue reading. Crossbow Slayer. You find that a crossbow's versatility is the perfect companion to your own, and you eagerly reload it to get back in the fight. Interacting to reload gains the Relentless trait for you. Ooh! Free reloading a crossbow. Is this the first time that's actually viable in Pathfinder? Special. If you have a consecrated Panoply signature tool, you can load a hunting spike into a crossbow when you reload it. The next time you use hunting spike, its thrown trait uses the crossbow's range increment. That's cool. So holy crossbow. Drink adaptation serums. So if you have the Chemist vials signature tool. You drink your adaptation serums made of a unique brew intended to protect you from extreme conditions, which you gain as a secondary tool. Okay. For the next hour, you gain one of the following effects chosen when you reinforce your arsenal. You can treat severe or extreme cold as mild, and you treat incredible cold as severe. You treat severe or extreme heat with same things with heat. Reinforce. For the duration, you also gain resistance equal to your level to damage of any of the trophy's damage types dealt by hazardous terrain or by an effect that would damage you upon entering or starting your turn in a particular area, such as toxic cloud or wall of fire. Okay? For the duration. For an hour. Okay. Okay, extreme cold and heat I find doesn't come up very often in published adventures, but then those are published adventures. Okay. Repelling Shield. You gain a Repelling Shield as a secondary tool, which is a level 0 common shield of your choice. So the idea is that if you get more secondary tools, what did it say here? Can you apply trophies to those? Huh. I don't think so. Oh, but they have the reinforced entries, so you can. Okay, it's a level 0 common shield of your choice. You can designate a different shield as your repelling shield when you reinforce your arsenal, transferring your special adjustments to it. While your repelling shield is raised, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to reflex saving throws against area effects created by your quarry. In addition, you gain the shield block general feat. Okay. Shield block is nice. And defense against your quarry. Reinforce. You can shield block with your repelling shield in response to any of the trophy's damage types from an attack in addition to physical damage. All right. I assume if you find a magical shield, you can designate a different shield. Yeah, it says right there. Just any shield. Okay. Spiked Surcoat. It looks like each subclass has their own level 1 subclass specific feat. So for the Warded Mail subclass, obviously, you wear a set of vicious spikes over your armor, which you gain as a secondary tool. While wearing your spiked surcoat, whenever you are hit by an unarmed strike, a strike with a non-reach melee weapon, or a grab, these are all very common occurrences, the attacker takes piercing damage equal to 1 plus the value of your armor's potency rune. Oh, that's cool. You get spikes. You get Slay the Spire spikes. And from many other games, too. The spike reinforced. The spikes deal an additional 1 damage of one of the trophy's damage types. Oh, that's cool. So walking into a you know, if you know your enemy, you're gonna face a lot of foes that have a weakness to fire. You can come in with the right spikes for the job. Sudden pounce. 2 actions. Relentless. You leap into the fray with abandon. Make a long jump. Okay, that's cool. If you land within melee reach of at least one enemy, you can make a melee strike against that enemy. If you leaped at least 15 feet, the enemy is off guard to the strike. Oh, that's cool. And that becomes increasingly easy to get. Basically use at the opening of combat. That's pretty cool. A more flavorful sudden charge. But you kind of have to wait before you do it because you need your... well, you don't have to wait. It just has the relentless trait. You don't have to wait until your on the hunt is triggered. Okay, cool. Paired Bloodseeker. Whether you carry 2 identical weapons or a useful sidearm, your signature weapon is paired, threatening your quarry with a storm of blows. You gain a paired Bloodseeker as a secondary tool, which is the level 0 common one-handed, simple, or martial weapon of your choice. You can designate a different one-handed weapon as your second blade when you reinforce your arsenal, transferring your special adjustments to it. Your paired Bloodseeker gains the initial benefit of your Bloodseeking Blade signature tool. What was that again? It's not the extra damage. It's to ignore the amount of resistance, okay, of its damage type. Except that you roll d4s instead of d6s for the additional damage. Wait. The additional damage? Oh, reinforce the additional damage is part of the initial benefit. Uh-huh. So I suppose you can reinforce... All secondary tools can be reinforced, apparently. So you can reinforce it with a damage type, and it does additional damage too. Wow. You get additional damage on 2 weapons. It also gains the specialized arsenal benefit when your Bloodseeking Blade signature tool does. My god, it's one thing to read these things quietly, it's another thing to say them out loud. It's kind of exhausting the way it's written. You can use Honed Strike or any other ability that requires you to wield or strike with a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool with your paired Bloodseeker instead. Okay. Honed Strike. That was the one that you get higher accuracy and can ignore their concealed condition. Okay. This will be cool to see in play. Like, it would be fun to make a battle demonstration of this, I think. Of course, those take a lot of time. I know you guys want to see battle demonstrations. Peculiar weaponry. This is another option for the Bloodseeking Blade. How many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only have 3 subclasses being given love, but there's only 4. Oh wait, do we see all of them? Chemist, vials, warded mail, Bloodseeking Blade, Bloodseeking Blade. So consecrated Panoply wasn't given love. However, Crossbow Slayer is happy with it. Peculiar weaponry. You specialize in an unusual weapon, whether a common soldier's armament or a unique tool few can use. If your Bloodseeking Blade signature tool is a simple weapon, increase its damage die size by 1 step. Also, your Bloodseeking Blade signature tool, my goodness, Bloodseeking Blade signature tool, 8 syllables, can be an advanced weapon in addition to simple or martial, and you treat any advanced weapon you've designated as your signature tool as if it were a martial weapon for the purposes of proficiency. All right, so this is for those Gnome, Flick Mace, and Falcata slayers. It's probably what people would use it for. All right, chat. After level 1 feats, after each level of feats, I'll look at chat. Blood Scent does not have a once per round limit, by the way. Infinite free actions. You can use this ability as a free action if the creature you target is your quarry. Yeah, against your quarry, you can always know their hit points and their conditions. Okay. That's cool that if someone's bleeding, you can use this on them for free. Okay. I'm not sure what this is about. When you succeed, the DC keeps increasing. I don't know what that's addressing. Not in my Recall Knowledge house rule. I don't increase the DC unless it's some kind of ability that lets you spam Recall Knowledge. Because I think Recall Knowledge, I want to encourage it more. There's no limit on free actions being once per round. I see a comment about that. No, I don't. No. Okay, people are talking to each other. Oh, the reloading feat applies to any reloading weapons? Interacting to reload gains a relentless trait for you. Huh. Yeah, they need to clarify the intent here. Because it's clearly talking about a crossbow in the title and in the flavor text, but it just says interacting to reload gains a relentless trait. Huh, okay, this is an important point. Without the DC reduction, your monster lore can never succeed using those free actions on your quarry. That's true. So I would like to see a clarifying thread about that. Rules Lawyer debates on a Rules Lawyer channel video. Ah, this is nice. Yes. Yes, as long as this is respectful. As long as it's respectful, which it's been. The PF2E system on Foundry does the same thing that Archives of Nethys used to, using those mentioned guidelines to put a number on the sheet. However, Archives of Nethys has recently changed how they present that info. You get a free stride as part of that long jump, right? Yes, you do. Increasing the damage size. It's basically +1 damage. +1 per weapon die damage. Oh, Blood Scent gave you recall knowledge? Oh. Oh. Ah, I see. Yeah, this would be an instance of a recall knowledge being spammable, which I would raise the DC in that case. And you know, my house rule does not extend to that situation. Okay. All right, second level feats. Instant Enmity. The reaction you can use once per day when you see a creature take a hostile action against you or one of your allies. You get Instant Enmity. You focus your hunt on an unexpected but loathsome foe. If the triggering creature's level is equal to or higher than yours, it temporarily becomes your quarry for 1 minute, replacing your previous quarry for the duration. Oh, okay, so you get to go back to your other quarry. So this you get to have like a personal temporary vendetta. If its level is lower than yours, the reaction is wasted, but you can use Instant Enmity again on the same day once 10 minutes have passed. You can't claim a trophy from a quarry you declared using instant enmity. Okay. I'm trying to remember what your benefits of quarry are again. When you're fighting your quarry. On the hunt gets triggered if someone critically hits it. Anyone in your party can critically hit it. You're not able to claim the trophy in this case. Huh. So it's all about other things having advantages against your quarry. Yeah. It looks like each signature tool has some benefit against your quarry only, as its initial benefit. A often passive benefit. Not all the time passive. Okay. All right. You're my quarry. Pack Slayer. You know that even lesser monsters make for worthy prey in enough numbers. You can mark as your quarry a group of at least 3 creatures of the exact same type, such as the pack of werewolves, even if their level is lower than yours. You treat any member of the group as your quarry for the purposes of your Slayer feats and class features, but you can only ever claim a trophy from a single member of the group. That's cool. Yeah, it gives you more versatility. Though they're less likely to have special senses and other specific things, but you may not care about that. More trophies. Personalized gear for Bloodseeking Blade or Warded Male signature tools, subclasses. Your signature tool is even more closely fit to your specifications than most Slayers, enhancing its performance. If you have a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool with a parry trait, the circumstance bonus to AC from positioning it defensively increases to +2. And if you have a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool with a backstabber trait, the extra precision damage increases by 1. If you have a Warded Male signature tool, it gains a comfort trait if it didn't already have it, so you can sleep in it. And you ignore its reduction to your speed. Oh, you don't get... So full plate you get to walk at full speed in. That's cool. So that would be essential for a number of full plate builds. They usually feel very slow in combat. Saltstone. This has the relentless trait. One action, you need a free hand. You draw your salt stone, a small block of dried magical compounds, and scrape it along a weapon you're wielding. You got a salty weapon? For the next minute, that weapon can damage incorporeal creatures as if it had a ghost touch rune. If your quarry has regeneration, the weapon also deactivates your quarry's regeneration as if it dealt damage of the appropriate type. Oh, that's cool. No matter what type of regenerate, like trolls have regeneration unless they're damaged by acid or fire, and other creatures have different ways to shut down the regeneration. But this is universal against all of them. But it has to be your quarry to shut down the regeneration. Okay. Cool. Shifting hunt. You are always ready to adapt your equipment to the needs of the hunt. This all sounds really cool as a class, I have to say. I'm like, this all sounds like fun to build and fun to play, particularly when triggering your relentless action. Shifting hunt. You are always ready to adapt your equipment to the needs of the hunt. When you interact to change the configuration of a combination or modular weapon, or to change your grip on a two-hand weapon, the action gains a relentless trait for you. Okay, so whenever you're changing weapon loadouts with specific types of weapons, it can become free sometimes. Special. If you have a Bloodseeking Blade signature tool with a combination, modular, or two-hand trait, you can choose different options for each configuration for Slayer class features or feats that require you to make a choice when you reinforce your arsenal. For example, you can choose different damage types for Bloodseeking Blade's initial benefit for each of your weapons configurations. Cool. But it all has to be... so let's say you have some kind of modular weapon, and I can't think of an example. I assume you can do different... it's like 2 weapons in one. I guess with one you can do extra bludgeoning damage, but if you can have a different configuration, do a different damage type, maybe fire. But you can only attach 1 trophy to that modular weapon, so you need it to have different damage traits so that you can assign different damage types to those. But that's kind of cool how you can be versatile. You can have more abilities depending on the... Anyway, each configuration can be customized. That's kind of cool. Slayer's tricks. You've learned a few simple magical tricks to supplement your tools in a pinch. You gain 2 common occult cantrips as innate spells. Your spellcasting attribute modifier for these spells and any other spells you gain from Slayer's feats is wisdom rather than charisma. Interesting. I guess reflecting your naturiness. Casting a spell gains the relentless trait for you as long as the spell you cast came from a Slayer feat. Interesting. So if you can use your on the hunt reaction to cast 2 spells on your next turn, apparently, that cost 2 actions each. If you have a consecrated Panoply signature tool, you can choose divine spells rather than occult spells for this feat, and for any other Slayer feats that allow you to choose innate spells. Okay, that was cool. You can hunt the rats, but not the biggest rat that makes all the rules. Wait. Level 2 Ghost Touch is not bad, right? Can you do the armor build with the shield as well? Seems like you could be a pretty high AC. I don't know what the question is there. You can just equip a shield while having this subclass. Though I wouldn't be surprised if in the final version they add a shield version, a shield subclass. I don't know. In my opinion, Shifting Hunt and the later Shifting combination should also work with the Shifting rune. Huh. That would make sense. The Shifting rune. What did Shifting... This was Shifting Hunt, okay. 2 spells per turn, hooray. I wonder how strong the such spells can be. We've only seen cantrips. Slayer's tricks is great to ignore map. True. Slayer's tricks is likely to make Slayer archetype the spellcaster version of Exemplar archetype. Ah. So spellcasters will want to dip into this. But it has to be a spell gained... Wait. From this class feat. So we'll have to see what spell casting the Slayer unlocks, because you have to spend a level 4 archetype feat to get Slayer's tricks, you know? Alright. 4th level. Apply Spirit Oil. Once per day. You need 1 hand wielding a weapon and another free. 1 action. You have a small pot containing a foul concoction of oil and resin as a secondary tool. You draw a cloth coated in your spirit oil and wipe it along your weapon, magically enhancing its edge and limiting it in ghostly fire. For 1 minute, the required weapon gains a deadly D8 trait, or increases the die size of its deadly trait by 1 step if it already had it. Reinforced, for a minute, the required weapon also deals an additional 1d4 persistent damage on a critical hit. This is of one of the trophy's damage types chosen when you reinforce your arsenal, so you can give them persistent slashing damage. Alright, so just makes it more weapony, though it's once per day. So save it for the boss. Okay. It has a relentless trait. Okay. Blood for blood. One action. A creature needs to have critically hit you with an attack since the end of your previous turn. You viciously return your foe's attack, reinvigorating yourself with your vengeance. Make a strike against a required creature. If it hits, you gain temporary hit points equal to half your level or to the damage the triggering attack dealt, whichever is lower. These HP last for 1 minute. Okay. Alright, it's a little... Maybe that's a little underwhelming to me. I don't know. So if you're level 4, something critically hits you, it probably hits you for like 30 damage. You get to have 2 temporary hit points with this strike, and only if it hits. Yeah. And it doesn't have the relentless trait. You have to spend an action. Well, anyway, it's a strike. It includes a strike. Yeah. Blood Rush, free action when you roll initiative and you can see your quarry. The adrenaline you get to do on the hunt as a free action. Okay. Huh. So you get a bonus action basically at in your first round. That sounds pretty good. Cure-All, Chemist Vials signature tool is required. You gain a vial of Cure-All as a secondary tool. You can spend 1 minute to apply it to an ally, removing one of the following conditions. Paralyzed, well, how often are you paralyzed for outside of combat? Huh? Because this requires a minute. Petrified, sickened, or unconscious. If the ally was unconscious, they also gain 1 hit point. The target is then temporarily immune to Cure-Alls for 24 hours. Reinforce. You can instead use a Cure-All to attempt to counteract any one affliction applied by the creature the trophy was claimed from, using your class DC minus 10 as your counteract check modifier. That seems pretty situational. So it has to be the actual creature you just killed, and this is only helping people after you've won a fight already. And paralyzed, I haven't heard of paralyzed lasting more than a minute. Well, petrified will come up occasionally. This is useful against that. Sickened, you can usually throw up. And those that last longer usually have a proviso saying you cannot reduce this. Or unconscious. Okay. I don't know. That seems counteracting an affliction sounds good and it sounds universal, except it has to be the creature you killed. So this is like only useful once. Blech. Anyway, that's my hot take. Rules lawyer. Expansive Panoply. While a short, sharp piece of metal is a remarkably versatile tool, you know that it is not appropriate for every occasion. When you use Hunting Spike, you can draw and strike with spikes that function as clubs, darts, or short swords rather than daggers. This changes their traits, damage, and weapon category and group, but they otherwise follow the same rules as their normal hunting spikes. So, Holy Club! Very cool. Being able to cast 2-action spell plus 2-action cantrip is still pretty nice, but that's if the archetype lets you go on the hunt. Oh yeah. I have to think it lets you... I'm not sure. We'll see if it lets you go on the hunt. Yeah, they might not give the relentless action economy to the archetype. We'll see. We don't know. Cure-All is what made me really believe that Chemist needs serious work. Okay. You agree with my bleh. Caster dedication and a scroll, hasten and enlarge on turn 1. Okay, I'm not sure what that's referring to. The feat we saw so far only allows you to subtract one action from the action cost of a cantrip. But maybe a later feat does. Unlike leveled spells or ranked spells. Oh hell, Blood Rush doesn't require the on the hunt ability to take. Oh, that's true. Huh, okay. So an archetype could get that if the archetype doesn't already give you on the hunt. Slayer's Tricks isn't that good. Was Slayer's Tricks? Oh, the cantrips one. The proficiency for innate spells sucks, and there isn't an occult wisdom class to make it better. I don't know why you refer to occult wisdom classes, because I believe there are wisdom spellcasting classes, yeah? And it doesn't matter if, like, a cleric can dip into this theoretically and use your spellcasting proficiency from your main class. It doesn't matter what tradition. This was that changed with the remaster, I believe. But yeah, still I'm concerned about it being a very powerful dip or archetype for a caster. Oh, and then the next comment addresses that. I need to shut up because sometimes other commenters say what I'm going to say. All right, cool. Next, 6th level. Final Flourish. You reduce the creature to 0 hit points this turn. With a showy flourish, you flick blood off your blade or rearm your weapon, invigorating yourself. I thought it was going to say lick blood off your blade. That would have been more flavorful. You gain temporary hit points equal to half your level, which lasts for a minute. You can interact to swap weapons or reload a weapon you're wielding. Okay. Okay. All right. Modest hit points, but you get to do interact as well. Relentless Counterstrike. Reaction. You have a circumstance bonus. You need to have a circumstance bonus to your AC from using Armored Shelter, raising a shield, or positioning a weapon with the parry trait defensively, and an attack that would have hit without that bonus misses you. You redirect its momentum to throw yourself into the fight. You go on the hunt as a free action. Okay, so this is just a different way to trigger on the hunt. Okay. I'm thinking. Okay, so it means you have better action economy on your next turn. Shifting Combination. Required Shifting Hunt. Relentless trait. 2 actions. You need to be wielding a weapon with a combination, modular, or 2-hand trait. In a flurry of movement, you strike with the required weapon. Interact to change its configuration or change your grip on it. Then strike the same target again. Oh, that's cool. If neither strike is made into configuration with an agile trait, the second strike takes a -2 penalty. Both strikes use your current multiple attack penalty. And if both hit, combine their damage and apply resistances and weaknesses only once. So it's kind of like double slice, but with this weapon using itself as its second weapon. But the a little less generous on the multiple attack penalty though. If one of them is agile, it's at -2 instead of -0. Okay, but that's still better than the usual. So you're just like attacking multiple times by just changing its configuration. Cool. And this has the Relentless trait too. Oh wow. And couldn't you also like add extra damage with the blade subclass too? That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's balanced. Okay, spell slates. Requiring Slayer's tricks. Okay, higher ranked spells. You learn how to expand your magical tricks with a set of specially prepared charms or runes, which you gain as a secondary tool. You gain a first rank common occult spell and a second rank common occult spell as innate spells, each of which you can cast once per day. At 8th level, you also gain a third rank common occult spell as an innate spell that you can cast once per day. So a level 12 caster getting the archetype could take this feat, which would let them cast a third rank spell as part of a 2-spell turn. I don't know, it doesn't seem overpowered to me. You gain an additional common innate spell of a rank equal to or less than the highest rank innate spell you have from Slayer feats, which you can cast once per day, if it's reinforced. This additional spell must be of the Trophies tradition, and you can swap it for a different spell with the same restrictions when you reinforce your arsenal. Okay. So if you have some Beast's trophy on your tool, you can add Fireball because it's primal, yeah? Wall of Will. Requires warded male signature tool. When you prepare to defend yourself, your willpower is so fierce that you are difficult to even approach. While you are benefiting from Armored Shelter, what was Armored Shelter again? Is that the +2 to AC? Yeah, your slaying technique. The first time each turn your quarry attempts to enter a space adjacent to you as part of a move action, it must first attempt a will save against your class DC. If it fails, it doesn't enter that space and the action is disrupted. Oh, that's cool. So if it's some foe that doesn't have reach who's your quarry, you can like you can attack it, spend your second action to walk away, and then Armored Shelter. And then when they try to go up to you, you can prevent them. That's funny. Okay, chat. Shifting combination is the highlight of this class for me. So many cool things you can do with it, especially if you take Adventure Archetype to put modular on anything. Yeah, you can have like 2 damage types with one attack and then 2 different damage types with a second attack, and they're both accurate. And with Bloodseeker's Blade, that class feat, you can add extra damage on the secondary. Oh no, that's different. This you need that feat for if you have a second weapon. This is for a combination weapon or a modular weapon. But still, I think you get extra damage on both. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, 8th level. Armored Fortress. When you're using Armored Shelter or have your shield raised, you know how to position your armor or shield to protect your allies as well as yourself. Until you move from your current space or use an attack action, your allies can take cover behind you. Okay, so it's kind of like you are, what's it called? It's that part of the big shield. What's it called? Oh, I'm not remembering. But others can use you as something to take cover behind. Interesting. Catalyzing Flask. Chemist vial signature tool required. You gain a Catalyzing Flask as a secondary tool, a special alchemical vial that contains a level 1 common alchemical elixir of your choice. You can activate the elixir without consuming it once per day, as the monster parts within react with the remaining fluid to produce more and fortify the elixir. If you activate the elixir a second time on the same day, it is fully consumed. Okay, you can activate it. So use it, you get its benefit without consuming it, and you get to do it a second time. Okay. You can designate a different alchemical elixir of your level or lower as the contents of your catalyzing flask when you reinforce your arsenal, replacing the previous elixir and refilling the flask if it was fully consumed. Okay. So you can start any adventuring day with a elixir that is of your level or lower, yeah? and can use it twice. So it's kind of like having the ability to have 2 infused elixirs, I suppose, which is smaller than what someone with who's an alchemist can do, or has one of those, I believe, or has an archetype that lets you prepare infused alchemical things. You're limited to elixirs, but it does seem like you can replenish this when you kill a quarry, because then you can reinforce your arsenal and then and designate a different alchemical elixir. You need to have that elixir already in your possession, I suppose. So it gives you an extra use of the elixir. And there's some super powerful elixirs out there, I guess. When you reinforce, when you activate the elixir within your catalyzing flask, you also gain a +1 status bonus to Fortitude, Reflex, or Will saves for whichever the creature the trophy was claimed from had the highest modifier. This bonus lasts for 1 minute. That seems too finicky. Why not just get +1 to all of them, dude? So you need to now keep track of, when you track your trophies, what was their highest saving throw, you know? Blech. Defensive hunt reaction: when you are critically hit by your quarry, even in a moment of danger, you turn weakness into opportunity. You go on the hunt as a free action. Okay. I don't know if I like these feats that require to be critically hit. They're required to get your ass beat by your quarry. It seems like not a good time. Field forged tools. Yes, give a like, folks, please. Boost the algorithm. Ooh, 66 people watching. Cool. 67. Wow. Okay. Field forged tools. Your experience working with monster parts and salvaged equipment makes you adept enough to create weapons and armor directly from your trophies. You gain the monster crafting skill feat, even if you don't qualify for its prerequisites, and when you use it, you can consume an unused trophy in addition to the body of the monster, incorporating the trophy into the item's construction. So you need to be there where the corpse is still. If you later designate the item as a hunting tool, for example, a blood-seeking blade or warded male signature tool, you gain its reinforced benefits as if you had reinforced it with a consumed trophy. You can still reinforce the item normally with another trophy, and you can switch which trophy's characteristics it uses as a 1-minute activity with the manipulate trait. Aw, so I thought you could have like the effects of 2 trophies, but no, it's like 2 alternate trophies. You can only have 1 trophy active at a time. And it looks like you got to do the monster crafting feat, so don't you use downtime to make this thing, I suppose? Okay, but the idea is to give you a versatile, you know, fur coat that is like your plate armor slash. It's got 1 set of characteristics, but you can give it another set of characteristics with 1 minute. Okay, Kadrissa is most interested in the Slayer from the new playtest. This looks the more interesting to me. I mean, Daredevil, I was just kind of like, you know, I just need to see it in action. It just seemed, yeah, I just need to see it in action more. Kind of grok how it like moves around the battlefield and how you can leverage that actually. So I have no judgment on it actually. It would be interesting to see the how you can leverage positioning with that class. All right, cool. All right, next is 10th level, Eager Hunter. You are so eager to reach your prey that every opening propels you forward. When you go on the hunt, you can step toward the nearest enemy as a free action. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I guess that helps in close quarters. Endless enmity. Like, I wonder if it could just been a stride, you know? Endless enmity. You need instant enmity. That's the one where if something critically Wait, hits you or one of your allies. Once per day, get to make them your quarry temporarily, I believe. You are always ready to face a creature that harms you or your allies. You can use this once per 10 minutes. Okay. So the downside of the quarry mechanic is that you need that 10 minutes and advanced knowledge of what you're about to fight, right? But this bypasses that. Still, it doesn't let you get trophies. Ever vigilant. You can pursue your prey even when distracted. At the start of each of your turns, when you regain your actions, you gain an additional reaction that can be used only to go on the hunt. Okay. So that addresses one of my concerns about always needing that reaction. Share insight. Relentless. One action. You understand your quarry is so your understanding of your quarry is so complete that you can easily guide your allies to exploit it. Each day when you reinforce your arsenal, choose one of the following benefits. You can choose only a benefit associated with the signature tool you have. When you share insight, your allies gain the chosen benefit for 1 minute. Bloodseeking Blade. Allies within 30 feet of you ignore 3 of your quarry's resistance to any damage they deal. Chemist Vials. Allies within 30 feet of you gain low light vision or dark vision if they already had low light vision, and can detect your quarry as a precise sense within 30 feet. That one's pretty cool when the situation arises, because 4th rank invisibility is a thing that I've used against my players. Consecrated Panoply. Allies within 30 feet of you gain a +1 status bonus to saving throws against your quarry. Warded Mail. They get resistance 5 to damage dealt by your quarry. I guess to all damage dealt by your quarry. So if your quarry does 2 types of damage, to get resistance 5 to each, which actually sounds like the strongest one here if you're facing a boss that hits hard. Possibly. But they all have their own situation. They all have their situations in which they're strong. Yes, please leave a like. Are you asking me if I've read Heinlein? I don't know who Heinlein is. Okay, 12th level. Double Quarry. You can have up to 2 creatures designated as your quarry at the same time. If you mark quarry while you already have 2, you choose which to replace. Cool. Expanded spell slates. If you already had spell slates, you can take this. You gain a 4th rank common occult spell as an innate spell. At higher levels, you get higher rank ones. You can get, at 16th level, a 6th rank common occult spell, each as an innate spell that you can cast once per day. So you have now 6 ranked spells that you can use here, and you can use your Relentless, and they can have the Relentless trait when used on the hunt. Those are, yeah, that's pretty powerful. I mean, we're dealing at this point with what? Heightened Slow? Wait, is that an occult spell? Slow? Yes, it is. 6 rank slow. Yeah. But it does you're a martial class that has strength or dexterity as your key attribute. If you become a spellcaster here, it uses wisdom, and it seems like you are interested in using your monster lore skill, which is based on intelligence. So we have, it's multiple attribute dependent. Nad. Gouging Strike. 1 action, Flourish. There's a lot of flourish things I've noticed. You twist your weapon, gouging your prey deeply and making them vulnerable. Make a melee strike. If it hits, you deal an additional die of persistent bleed damage with the same die size as the strike's weapon damage dice. The target gains weakness 3 to physical damage until the start of your next turn, or until it is no longer taking this persistent bleed damage, whichever comes first. Huh. Alright. Alright, so we have that Great Axe going. And do a d12 persistent bleed damage. Spectral Lenses. You gain spectral lenses as a secondary tool, which takes the form of either specially treated glasses or a noxious ointment you apply to your eyes. You can apply or remove your spectral lenses as a single interact action. While applied, you gain the effects of See the Unseen. Reinforced. While applied, you gain a +1 status bonus to perception checks to seek or search for creatures with any of the trophy's traits, and you reduce the DC for the flat check to target concealed or hidden creatures with any of the trophy's traits by 2. All right. Lets you see better. What was I going to say? Yeah, this and the Thaumaturge are the funky items classes. You get to treat weird things, body parts, esoterica, as having magical effects. Heinlein, Starship Troopers. I have not read Heinlein. Have not read much. There's a lot of things I missed in terms of culture. All right. 14th level, Arm Bloodburst File. Wow. Your Bloodburst File is an ampule of volatile monster blood designed to detonate when attached to a weapon, which you gain as a secondary tool. You lock your Bloodburst File into a weapon you're wielding. We're just gonna accept that and not figure out what that looks like. If that weapon is a ranged weapon, you can also interact to reload it as you load the file as ammunition. Your next strike with that weapon this turn gains the splash trait and deals an additional 12d6 persistent bleed damage. Damn! And 12 persistent bleed splash damage. Whoa! You are immune to this splash damage. If you have a free hand, you can instead arm your Bloodburst File to treat it as an alchemical bomb, which you can strike with once before the end of the turn to deal 12d6 persistent bleed damage and 12 persistent bleed splash damage. At 17th level, the persistent bleed damage increases to 14d6 in either case. Reinforce. Your Bloodburst File deals an additional d6 damage and 1 splash damage of one of the trophy's non-physical damage types. Okay. I guess that's about triggering weaknesses at this level. That's not a huge amount of damage. Huh. I was confused by that sentence about ammunition. All right. So once per 10 minutes. So can you apply this repeatedly with the crossbow? If that weapon is a ranged weapon that you put the file into, you can interact to reload it as you load the file as ammunition. Oh, the file is ammunition. Okay, so it's one time. Okay, Open Wound. Your weapons can always find your prey's wounds, guiding your hands. Creatures that are taking persistent bleed damage are off guard to you. Okay, that's cool. Oh, the file feed is kind of busted, someone says. Basically, if you're a crossbow or gun or slayer, you can put the file in your crossbow or gun and shoot it at someone. Yeah, it's once per 10 minutes, though. And it might hit or it might miss. So I don't know if it's busted. 16th level. Impenetrable Shelter. Requires the Warded Mail signature tool. Your armor is covered in so many layers of special materials and treatments that it protects you from almost any harm. When you use Armored Shelter, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to all saves against area effects, not just reflex saves. Okay. Inferno Vial. So that's like the defense subclass, yeah? Inferno Vial is for the Chemist subclass. You have developed a far more volatile mix for your Ignition Vials, making their energy spread much farther. When you use Ignition Vial, it damages creatures in a 30-foot cone rather than 15 feet. Okay. And by this point, you're doing what? Like 9d4, 8d4 energy damage? Fire damage? Okay. Unerring Edge. For the Bloodseeking subclass, you can detect your foe from the slightest movement, letting your blade strike true. When you use Honed Strike So your slaying technique that is more accurate and ignores the concealed condition. When you do that, you can ignore the hidden condition, and the circumstance bonus increases to +3. Vicious Spike, consecrated Panoply signature tool. The layered blessings on your hunting spikes mean they always draw blood. When you use hunting spike, the strike gains the following failure effect. If you fail, you'll deal the damage you would have dealt on a hit, treating all damage dice as if they rolled a 1. This includes all dice, including from weapon runes, spells, and special abilities. Okay, so get each damage type in. Modest damage, but it might trigger a weakness. Alright, so I don't know about a vicious spike. More like reliable spike. In terms of the name. It won't miss if you have the investigator archetype. Huh, okay. I guess you can use that fortune effect on your strike. There was a really interesting homebrew class for 5e that used magical relics to cast modified cantrips, but never got actual spell casting. Sadly, that homebrew was so overpowered that it could never be used. But they made some cool magic items. Didn't the Artificer... I refuse to call it Artificer. I don't know where that came from, but didn't the Artificer like let you have magic items, like doodads that do magical spells? I don't know. I really like the theming of collecting items to use their power. Yeah, I like the idea of like keeping a little list and having their traits. I have the monster hunting book rules, and I really like those. I like here the aspect of switching them out. Though it's not super versatile, like you have to get a new quarry for you to be able to switch something, which thematically is a little weird, but that you're limited to that situation. 18th level, Obliterate, 3 actions. Ooh, has a death trait. Focusing all your senses on your target, you prepare for a destructive attack. Make a strike against your quarry. If you hit, deal maximum damage. After the strike, your turn ends. This is strong. Because, well, I don't know how strong it is, because it's strong if you critically hit. You're likely to hit your enemy twice, and rolling average dice. Hitting twice, since much of your damage is from your flat bonus, I don't know if this is like even more damage than 2 hits. I don't know. But the prospect of a critical hit, though, doing maximum damage is crazy. Okay, Terrifying Bloodlust. Relentless, once per 10 minutes. Your will is a terrifying weapon in its own right. You unleash your killing intent, forcing each enemy within 60 feet that can see you to attempt a will save against your class DC. You can make them frightened. And that's relentless. So if you see a giant rat get killed in your vicinity, you can scream, because you use On the Hunt as your reaction to the giant rat dying, and then you get to do this action for free and freak everyone out. 20th level, Eternal Hunt, reaction when your turn ends. You can always see an opening to throw yourself into battle and don't need to wait for one to present itself. You go on the hunt as a free action. Okay. But why is it a reaction to use it? That's a typo. Right? That has to be a typo. No. This is to give you reliable on the hunt, correct? And I guess you want to get that other feat that lets you have a bonus reaction per turn that can only be used to use On the Hunt. On the Hunt is an awkward name, by the way. You want something that you say you do to be a noun or a verb, not to be an adjective, like the function of an adjective. So if you have that feat that gives you a bonus reaction, then yeah, this lets you reliably be on the hunt. If you don't have that feat, this is just a reliable way to get on the hunt. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure if this is a typo. And if this were a free action, I don't know if it would be broken. Maybe it would be broken because then you'd basically be quickened all the time. Wait, does this quicken stack with being hasted? You gain the quickened condition until the end of your next turn. Okay, so I gotta look up the quickened condition. You gain 1 additional action. Okay, so it does not. Other different instances of quicken do not stack. Okay, by the way, speaking all of these large piezo words and technical words while having Invisalign in is very difficult. You're welcome. Okay, Unbound Hunt. You've exceeded the limits of your training and any technique can be part of your hunt. The first action or activity you use on each of your turns gains a Relentless trait for you. Wait, isn't this just better? If this makes On the Hunt free, a free action or a reliable reaction, what was the point of On the Hunt? Is it simply to get a free action to do that's relentless? Oh, you can also step or stride. Okay. This just seems to be like, talk about reliability. You always get the benefit of On the Hunt, except you just can't use it to get a free step or stride, and it doesn't cost you any reactions. So I'm not sure how this isn't just better. All right, so that's the read-through. So I'm just reading chat now. I'm tired. These read-throughs are mentally exhausting. 12d6 on its own isn't a lot, but it's 12d6 persistent. Oh. 12d6 persistent, yes. For some reason, I had subtracted from my brain the fact that the persistent damage, I was thinking it was 12 persistent. 12d6 persistent is a lot. Since it's additive to the weapon, you can put on the toothy knife, whetstone, on your weapon, and now the DC to recover is 17. Huh. I don't know that toothy knife, but... And this is additional damage. Yeah, this seems strong. Okay. I must admit the Slayer class has grown on me a bit. It's like a ranger and thaumaturge hooked up at a party, and 9 months later we got a new baby class. Cool. That's kind of true. Obliterate is not relentless. Right. It's not relentless. But relentless lets you do a free stride to walk up to somebody and obliterate them, though. But, you know, it does make it less attractive. You might have some other combinations. I will say Obliterate does need the retired opening trait, since ending your turn really doesn't matter as a 3-action activity, since you can do your free actions, quickened actions before it. Thinking about this. I don't know. It seems like it's meant to, as it's written now, you can stride if you have On the Hunt for free and obliterate somebody. And maybe that's intended. We thank you for your service with the Paizo words and the Invisalign. You're welcome. Guarantee the 4th action every turn versus having more stuff to do with your 4th action. I suppose, but it's still unclear to me. This uses your reaction, though, Eternal Hunt. That's sad. That's why I'm thinking it's not really worth it compared to Unbound Hunt. Like, you might archetype into something that gives you a reactive strike, you know? Unbound Hunt does not put you on the hunt. Okay, what's the problem there? I don't know what the problem is there. Like, I just read on the hunt and saw the benefits, but were there other feats that required you be on the hunt? I'm not remembering. Eternal Hunt is letting you constantly get Hunt buff. Unbound Hunt basically lets you do, say, Battle Medicine as a relentless action. Wait, why would you do Battle Medicine? How could you do Battle Medicine as a relentless action? Oh, the first action you do gains a relentless trait for you. Oh, I was not reading, understanding it correctly. I thought it gave you the effect of on the hunt, but no, it makes any action you do, it gives you more flexibility in how to use the benefit of on the hunt. Now I understand the difference. Sorry. Okay, so this more reliably gets you on the hunt. And, you know, on the hunt does not trigger all the time in play. Maybe half the round something will be reduced to 0 hit points, and it's after you've already started to gain the upper hand against the enemy, right? So yeah, I see the trade-offs now. Good thing I don't make videos where I have wrong understandings by doing the stream first. But I don't know. I don't know if I can do a video. An edited video takes a lot of work. And now I have another channel to produce for. Basically, Eternal Hunt plus the feat to give you a second reaction to go on the hunt, and the feat to open on the hunt in turn 1 means quickened forever. Yeah. Yeah. And that seems to be the stronger one here. There's a number of classes that have a capstone feat that basically make them effectively quickened for actions that are thematic to that class, and this seems to be one of them. Though this is for your relentless actions, which tend to be your kind of dramatic, more powerful things, whereas for the fighter level 20 feat, I think it's simply just a strike. But then fighter strikes are plenty powerful. It's basically, do you want on the hunt buff every turn, or do you want a stronger on the hunt? Correct. Our boy Ronald is tired and needs to either go to bed or both. Wait, did I talk about the other channel? Oh, yeah, I have a channel called Ronald Off the Record that has basically been my gay channel, focusing on entertainment and focusing on Stranger Things. But other media now I'm branching out into. Also like Buffy, one of my favorite show. And whatever other media I react to and watch in the future. I'm watching now The Summer Hikaru Died and Arcane on that channel. I have yet to post anything of those two shows yet. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. This class seems a lot of fun, I gotta say. I like the idea of collecting things and, you know, putting configurations on your items and making them into combinations of things. It's like, gives you that, you know, tingling sensation you get from video games where you put like gems on a sword, different colored gems and stuff. It's like, you know, runes, but not runes. Pathfinder runes, but not runes. And it gets to interact with the trait system. So you're like, it also encourages idea of, oh, we're going to go into the Icelands and fight ice creatures. We need to go hunt down a fire creature so we can get something with the fire trait. So you have like a mechanical reason to go on a quest to hunt a beast. The Daredevil level 20 permaquicken didn't specify any action type, so it could be used for anything. Obviously going to change, but basically the same as Unbound Hunt as written currently. Luck be with you. Yeah. Where is that? Yep, this is the one that said you're quickened for a minute. Have at it! You're quickened. You get an extra action, period. Yeah, that's going to be changed. Which one do I prefer, Slayer or Daredevil? Oh, just personally, this is purely subjective because I have no judgment on which is, quote, stronger or better designed yet, because I think I have to think about them more. I've only had a reaction to each in a stream and haven't really had a chance to think about them. But the one I think I would, you know what? I don't know which one I would prefer to play. You know, first of all, I hardly ever play Pathfinder. I don't think I've played Pathfinder 2 in the last 5 years. I've GM'd it only. Which my third channel, Ronald, Rules Lawyer Discord community channel, you can find my streams there of my games that I run. But this, I like this for finding and hunting for trophies and using them. But I also like just anything that deals with it seems like it'll just be a challenge, an interesting challenge to leverage positioning using the Daredevil. And it seems like you can be a jumper, and I just did a video that's available on Patreon about jumping in Pathfinder, and it seems like jumping sounds fun to me. I like the idea of hitting people into other people too. Gem slots are always fun. Daredevil gets quickened for the first minute of a fight. S tier, too powerful. Slayer gets quickened forever. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I did just comment that they get an extra action to do a relentless trait action, which is considered its stronger actions. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's broken, but I am expressing a concern about that. Okay. All right. So that's the stream, folks. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my Patreon. And my brain's tired. So I will see you later.